13 in Rochester. WOKR.
Good evening, everyone. Blame those high interest rates. Bristol Ski Center is closing.
And a $100 million lawsuit was filed in court today against firms that designed and own Gannett. But first, the dispute over plans to expand the Rochester-Monroe County Airport raged again tonight at a special meeting of the county legislature. As David Burns reports, the two sides seem as far apart as ever.
Most of the crowd that packed into the county legislative chamber came not to praise the airport expansion plan, but to bury it. Many were from Gates or Chili, the towns most likely to be affected by the proposals.
From all of these plans, I see nothing more, Mr. Hart and myself, over the homes of Gates and Chili that means a greater potential for major disaster, and we don't like it.
Supporters of the multi-million-dollar airport plan say it will ensure that Rochester's airport will keep up with the times, that travelers in future years will arrive and depart safely. But opponents say new or expanded runways will increase air traffic, putting nearby residents in danger.
We'll see you in court, and we'll allow a jury of our peers to decide who's got the correct facts and which ones are true. We'll also see you at the state and federal level, because we plan to be there when your funds are approved.
County legislators are scheduled to vote on the proposed expansion plan next month. David Burns, 13 Eyewitness News.
Under terms of a tentative out-of-court settlement reached today, Central Trust Bank will be taking over the Bristol Mountain Ski Center. Bristol's chief stockholder, Fred Sarkis, said tonight the center will close effective tomorrow. That Central Trust is expected to take over ownership and a possible new buyer for the new season. Sarkis said that although the center, which lost money the year before, broke even this past year, but that high interest rates were too heavy a burden. Sarkis concluded that although he has lost $1 million investment, he expects that area skiers could look forward to a continuation of skiing next year, but under new ownership.
Rondequoit police believe they've now found the sawed-off shotgun used to murder Teamster official John Fiorino last December. 7-year-old Michelle Bogg of Queensboro Road was playing in the backyard of her home yesterday. The snow covering the ground had melted. She told her parents what she found, and they notified police. Joseph John Sullivan and Louis DeGulio have been charged with Fiorino's murder. A lawsuit was filed today on behalf of 3 RG&E customers to recover higher costs for fuel by the failure of the Gannett nuclear power plant. Their attorney, who is seeking $100 million in damages, hopes to make the suit a class action suit. RG&E says it's costing about $250,000 a day extra for electricity, a cost that will be passed along to the consumer, in this case, RG&E's 280,000 consumers.
Jurors in the trial of Klaus Van Bulow deliberated for the 5th day today. Van Bulow is charged with attempting to murder his wealthy wife by injecting her with insulin. Well, yesterday, Judge Thomas Heaton rejected a defense motion for a mistrial. Today, the judge asked the jury if they could reach a verdict soon.
And do you feel that you will be able to reach a verdict if you are given sufficient time? I again indicated a yes and a no box, and the jury has indicated in the affirmative.
The jury will continue its deliberations tomorrow morning.
Parents from a number of... Go ahead.
We'll try this one. The problem of acid rain is now in the courts. State Attorney General Robert Abrams, speaking at a forum on acid rain tonight, said New York State has a number of suits pending in federal court. Acid rain has been found responsible for killing fish, especially in the Adirondacks. The acid also kills trees and eats away at monuments. Most of the pollution apparently comes from the Ohio Valley, according to latest studies. Wendy?
Dick, parents from number 40 school on LaGrange Avenue on the city's west side aren't giving up easily. They marched outside the school district office early this evening before a school board meeting, asking that the board reverse itself and keep their elementary school open. City School Board voted last month to close 4 elementary schools the end of this year. So far, no indication they may have second thoughts. Well, the vice president tries to smooth things over between the White House and the Jewish community.
And the president travels to the South to promote his economic programs. Those stories coming up next.
The Toyota dealer $200 million inventory truck sales marathon is on! And you're the winner when you buy at the biggest truck sales event in Toyota's history. Toyota dealers are competing to sell 17,000 trucks. All kinds of trucks, from sporty SR5s to rugged 4x4s. Your Toyota dealer's got special incentives from Toyota to deal, so he's not holding anything back. We want a deal. So come on, don't sit there, start trucking. We're dealing! Toyota.
Kenny Rogers sounds twice as good in stereo on WFLC.
WFLC. Now at Marple Furniture, you can buy this practical Bassett hide-a-bed, full-size or queen size, only $3.99. It's on sale now at either Marple Furniture location, Hilton, and now Fairport.
It's the difference between mild cheese and a sharp cheese. This beer has tang to it.
Genesee Light tastes so good, you won't believe it's a light beer.
It's got flavor.
President Reagan began a two-day swing through the South and Southwest today. He's trying to whip up support for his economic policies, and he is prepared to use his veto power if Congress tries to bust the budget. ABC's Mike Von Fremd reports.
The first stop, Montgomery, Alabama, where the president arrived saying it sure feels good to be back in the heart of Dixie. And the president had a message for those back in Washington who want him to change his tax cut.
Forgive me, but I'm not only proud of this tax program, I happen to believe it's the best darn thing that's been done for working and middle-income people in nearly 20 years.
Then on to Nashville, Tennessee, where the president laid a wreath on the tomb of Andrew Jackson. And later, before the Tennessee state legislature, the president indicated that Andrew Jackson would have been a strong supporter of his proposal to reduce the size of government.
Our federal government has become so bloated and fat that Jackson wouldn't recognize it. Lines of responsibility between the levels of government have blurred beyond distinction.
And the president said America's greatness comes from the kind of character found in the people of Tennessee, and not from the handiwork of professional spenders dispensing the federal dole back in Washington. Mike Von Fremd, ABC News, with the president in Nashville, Tennessee.
Back in Washington, the vice president spoke before the United Jewish Appeal Conference today. Vice President Bush hoped to warm up the slightly cooled relationship that's existed between the Jewish community and the White House since the sale of AWACS planes to Saudi Arabia.
People in certain quarters grabbed the opportunity during that emotionally heated time to accuse American Jews of being more loyal to Israel than to the United States. It was an outrageous charge, and I reject as equally outrageous the notion that this charge came out of the White House or out of the heart of our president.
But the vice president made no apology for the sale of military equipment to moderate Arab nations.
For the first time in 6 months, Belfast, Ireland was rocked by a series of bomb blasts. The IRA is believed responsible for the explosions that hit the center of the city and 4 outlying towns. One 9-year-old boy was killed and at least a dozen others injured.
There was a surprise ruling today in a Verona, Italy courtroom where Red Brigade terrorists are on trial for kidnapping of U.S. General James Dozier. One accused kidnapper claimed that he was tortured by police, and the court agreed to throw out confessions made by other defendants. The general is back on duty in Italy. He and his wife are expected to testify at the end of this week.
An unofficial memorial was erected recently by Solidarity, the national labor union in Poland. That memorial to miners who defied the imposition of martial law and consequently lost their lives. Martial law in Poland is now in its 4th month. Labor leader Lech Walesa has been detained since the imposition of martial law. Today his wife said she wasn't sure authorities would allow him to attend their daughter's baptism.
Still to come tonight, the Amherst a little sore about officiating at last weekend's game, and a wet forecast from meteorologist Bill Peterson.
And there was some unexpected flooding in the Midwest, while Rochester seems to be saying that winter is over.
Before this day ends, halt. Hallman's will sell more Chevys than any dealer in town. Hallman's higher volume cuts the cost to you on the new generation of Chevrolets. Take a good close look. Our new Chevys turn in high MPGs for economy performance like never before. Take a closer look and cash in on rebates of up to $750. Before this day ends, you could be driving a Hallman Chevrolet. Why wait another day?
Central Trust's brand new Checkmate account offers checking, free of service charges, plus interest. Here's Graham Annette.
You know, a lot of people don't want to mix their savings with their checking, but they still want to have a free checking account and earn interest on their money. That's why we now offer Checkmate. It's a combination of a checking account and a savings account, and every month we look at both balances, and if either one qualifies, there are no service charges on your account. If you have a savings and checking account, together we could save you some money.
Another way of making Central Trust a better place to bank.
Here we are, Earl.
Let's eat.
Let's play. This is the $20 million McDonald's quality game. Oh, Earl, there's nothing like it. And win $500,000. There's instant winners, too. Coca-Cola and thousands in cash. I want a Big Mac.
Darn, that's what I'd like to win.
There are over 50 million prizes available.
At McDonald's.
Amana, the name that means quality, comes to you with a complete heating and cooling system. With features like our exclusive heat transfer module that gives you up to 59% greater heating efficiency for your home and your hot water needs. Like our durable copper coil, which some manufacturers only include in their commercial system. Amana answers your heating and cooling needs. Call your Amana dealer now and ask for the Amana name. Quality demands nothing less.
Free Amana estimate and quality installation. Call Royal Heat and Air Conditioning at 232-5400.
Is winter over? Well, probably not. Just to be on the safe side, the city of Rochester will remain on a winter watch until April 15th. While we have received a lot of snow this year, so far the city is ahead of the game. Alan Harris reports.
A bright sun was shining down on row after row of the city's snowplows. Will they be needed again this year? Some of the salt spreaders have already been cleaned and put up for summer storage. The huge salt pile seems unusually quiet, but it hasn't been quiet long. So far this winter, some 23,000 tons of rock salt have been spread on city streets in 92 salt runs. That's 7,000 tons less than what was budgeted for. There have been 15 major plowing runs on city streets, 2 less than in the budget. And the sidewalks were plowed 9 times, 1 less than expected. But now, the plows are parked, but the city isn't calling it quits yet.
I've seen some pretty major storms come in late March and early April, so it's too early to get complacent about that it's all over.
We've had a very cold winter and a lot of snow coming down this year. Are we still ahead of the game as far as your budget for this year is concerned?
In terms of our budget on the variable kinds of things, like how many plow runs, we probably only spent about 60% of our money, so yeah, we're in pretty good shape there.
We officially have had just over 112 inches of snow this winter, about 26 inches more than last year. Malone says that overall plowing went pretty well this year and that there weren't any major complaints after his staff began strong supervision on the outside plowing contractors. He terms this winter average. With the rain that's expected, the snow is going to disappear. The only remnant of winter will be some salt left on the street. Hopefully, the salt trucks won't have to go out again this year. Alan Harris, 13 Eyewitness News.
In the upper Midwest, a heavier than normal snowfall this winter, plus a faster than usual runoff this past weekend has brought some of the worst flooding in years. Creeks and rivers were over their banks in parts of northern Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, along with southern Michigan. The runoff is yet to reach its peak in many places, so authorities haven't begun to estimate the amount of property damage that's been caused, but it's sure to run into the millions of dollars. You called the weekend forecast beautifully, and you said we were going to have a beautiful day today.
I don't think next weekend's going to be quite as nice the way it looks. Alan mentioned in the winter he didn't think it was quite over. It's not. We've got some snow in the forecast, Dick, and we'll get to that in a second. But today, not bad as days go this time of the year. Our high was 41 degrees. The low last evening was 27 degrees. Average temperatures for this date, 40 and 24. And records, 75 in 1973 and 7 above in 1905. Skies have now turned cloudy to partly cloudy around the area. Temperature 31 degrees. Humidity at 59%. The winds are out of the east at 7 miles an hour. And the pressure is now rising at 30.31 inches of mercury. On the national map, we've got a warm front extends from the Carolinas back to the Ohio Valley into a low in the Dakotas now. That low is moving to the east. The warm front is moving to the north. High pressure still really dominates our weather, but that is also slowly moving to the east. We're coming under that southwesterly wind flow. We've got a lot of rain from Pennsylvania down through the Carolinas into Florida. Thunderstorms back through Tennessee and Kentucky, back into Missouri, also into Kansas. In fact, severe thunderstorm watches and warnings were out for this area tonight. As this warm, moist air moves up through New York, we're not going to see any of this severe weather, but we will most likely see some thunderstorms. They won't be severe. They won't be heavy. I don't think we'll get any more than about 1/4 of an inch of rain as the system continues to move to the east. Back in the west, we've got another low-pressure center forming down in Arizona. High pressure up in Canada. This high pressure really moves to the east. Quite cold air with it. That means temperatures are going to be at normal or just a little bit below going into the weekend. This low moving to the northeast, the combination of the two, going to cause some snow flurries for us beginning about late Friday or Saturday. We should get very little accumulation out of that. Let's look at everything on a satellite photo. The east coast. You can see still clear skies back through the Ohio Valley into Wisconsin, but this is where all that rain, all the clouds are occurring, all of it moving to the northeast. You can see the warm front lies right down through the Carolinas, the clouds and rain with it. This band of clouds we're seeing now through New York will break up. We'll see, some stars yet again tonight as it continues to move to the northeast, but there's more clouds and rain coming with it. It looks like the heaviest rain will probably start around noon, a little bit after noon tomorrow as it continues to move, and it looks like it will last at least into Wednesday morning. Let's look at radar now. You can see that we've got just again the ground clutter showing up right around Rochester, Maple Hills, around the area, not precipitation. Clear out into Pennsylvania where I thought we may be able to see some precipitation. Nothing showing up at this time. I guess the tops of the clouds are a little bit too low, really going over the top of them with the radar beam. Temperatures around the nation, high temperatures today. You can see 30s throughout the northern areas, Canada, just north of New York. We got into 40s, really dominating our weather through New York down into Pittsburgh today, or into Pennsylvania. Look where the warm front is, right here. Temperatures go from the 40s to the 80s in the span of about 200 miles there. Very drastic change, and that's the reason we're looking for rain and thunderstorms over the next couple of days. Temperatures around western New York, 30 degrees, say in Syracuse, up at Watertown, 24, 29 at Ithaca, Elmira, 32, 31 here in Rochester. Over to the west, Niagara Falls and Buffalo, about the same temperatures around the freezing mark, 32 in Toronto and 31 degrees in Trenton. Our forecast for tonight, we call for increasing cloudiness. We've got a lot of cloudy skies right now, but we'll see some stars yet, and then more clouds towards morning. Southeasterly winds, lows 27 to 32 degrees. And then for tomorrow, cloudy with rain afternoon. Winds out of the southeast 15 to 30 miles an hour, highs on the warm side 45 to 50 degrees. Tuesday night, rain continues, a chance of a thunderstorm. Southerly winds, lows 40 to 45 degrees. And then for Wednesday, cloudy, a little rain mainly early in the morning, clearing out in the afternoon. Highs around 50, lows above the freezing mark, and then the extended outlook going into the weekend. Temperatures at normal, a little bit below, a chance of snow both Friday and Saturday, but again, just flurry type, very wet stuff. It should melt as it falls, no accumulation.
Good enough. Thanks, Bill. Still to come tonight, highlights from action in tonight's NIT. Barry Williams will fill us in on sports.
Some would say that this is the egg in its most perfect form. We beg to differ. Indeed, the egg becomes perfect when it assumes the form of a Perkins omelet. Not just any omelet. Perkins, where the egg is always in perfect form.
Who gets the tab? Beautiful drink. Tab Cola. For beautiful people. Tab Cola. You're beautiful to me. Real cola tastes just 1 calorie. Tab Cola. What a beautiful drink. Tab 1 calorie. Water 0 tab. You're beautiful to me. Great taste 1 calorie. Tab.
Here's what's in store at Hazelton. Guaranteed service, true Toyota value. At Hazelton, you'll find a newly expanded showroom to show you more 82 Toyotas. A bigger, better service department. Convenient customer lounge, retail Toyota parts center for do-it-yourselfers. We've got the best behind-scenes people, even a financial manager to shop for the best car loans. This is the one, the only Hazelton, the Toyota store.
I'm Matt Rinaldi.
And I'm Patty Van Thoff.
Next on Donahue, a preview of the 24th season of the Ebony Fashion Fair.
And then on Morning Break, we visit with the Wright family of Fairport and their family therapist, featured in this month's Life magazine article on treating the emotions, trouble in the family.
That's Donahue and Morning Break, Tuesday morning, beginning at 9 here on 13.
Corey Williams has sports, and the Orange men were in the NITs.
Yes, some bad news for the Orange and Blue, I tell you. Bradley University was hopping mad at the Big East Commissioner Dave Gavitt for sliding the Braves in the NCAA tournament selections. So tonight, the Braves marched into the den of the Big East, the Carrier Dome of Syracuse, and got sweet revenge. They beat the Orange men 95-81 in the NIT. David Thirdkill leading the way with 23 points. The big story, though, at the foul line, Bradley outshot the Orange men 35-7 at the line. Simeon Smith will have highlights of that game tomorrow night at 6. Elsewhere in the NIT, a blowout in West Lafayette, Indiana, as Purdue wiped out Rutgers. This is Ricky Hall with the steal in the bucket for the Boilermakers. Back comes Rutgers. Roy Hinson with the slam in your face. After that, though, all downhill for Rutgers as Keith Edmonton caught fire. He led the Big Ten in scoring this year. And here's Hall with another steal. A nice pass to Edmonton. He ended the game with 29 points, perhaps his best performance of the year all around. Rutgers was led by Clarence Tillman. He had 25 points, including 2 there. Not enough. Boilermakers had great plays like that one, and they won the game 98-65. Elsewhere in the NIT second-round scores, Maryland lost to Georgia. Dayton over my alma mater by 3. Virginia Tech beat Mississippi 61-59, and Oklahoma by 3 over California Irvine. A couple of scores out west, nothing out of Nevada, Las Vegas. Washington trailing Texas A&M early in the first half. 3 finals tomorrow night in girls Section 5 basketball in the Class C championship game. Notre Dame of Batavia faces Honeoye, 6:30. That game will be played at Geneseo State, followed by the Class B title game. Byron Burgeon and Livonia in that one. The Class D championship, Belfast and Scio, will be decided at Alfred Tech. The Class A and AA finals will be Wednesday night. In hockey, the Amherst play Maine Wednesday night at the War Memorial, St. Patrick's Day. But it's a referee with an Irish name who has the team steaming right now, and we'll show you why. First of all, Saturday night in Binghamton, Chris Halleck of Rochester gets tangled with Gilles Lupien. Halleck's in the blue uniform, and watch Lupien in slow motion now. He whacks Halleck with the stick coming up right there. That's chop number 1. Then he has another flick to the face with his blade right there. Referee Bill McCreary only gave him a 2-minute minor, even though Halleck was cut and bleeding. Then last night against New Haven, Amerks and White, McCreary the referee again. And he watches Steve Jensen pull down Randy Cunnyworth. But it was Cunnyworth who got the penalty for interference, and New Haven scored on the power play. There it is. The replay shows Cunnyworth tripped first. Then in overtime, Dean Turner, number 3, is tripped behind the net by Scott Gruel. No call. Seconds later, New Haven scored to win the game. Here's the replay again. Gruel just reached out and gets Turner, but still no call from referee Bill McCreary. A couple of games tonight in the National Hockey League. Pittsburgh lost to Minnesota 4-3. Los Angeles leads Edmonton 2-1. The Oilers' only goal scored by, you guessed it, Wayne Gretzky. In golf, Sally Little came from behind to win the ladies' tournament in California today. Donna White was second. Nancy Lopez Melton third. Mary Dwyer, Kathy Morse way back. That final round postponed a day because of rain. Quite a weekend for Hale Irwin, even though he misses this putt on 15 on the last round of the Inverrary Classic in Florida. Watch this shot by Irwin on 18. Out of the trees and onto the green. A beautiful shot and a chance for an easy birdie from the man from Colorado. And he cans that birdie to win the tournament. Irwin now has won more than $2 million in his golf career. A good day for Americans at the Grand Prix tennis tournament in the Netherlands. Tim Wilkinson, Brian Teacher, Vince Van Patten, and Mel Purcell all won first-round matches. In the first-round match, the negotiations today between the NFL Players Union and the owners, no progress. The players want a controlling interest. The owners say, you've got to be kidding. And some weirdness out of the Atlanta Braves. They named third baseman Bob Horner team captain today. That's the same guy who refused to go to the minors a couple of years ago, and he wanted out of Atlanta. Only 2 other Braves have ever been named captain, Eddie Matthews and Hank Aaron. Batavia Downs, the Daily Double there this evening was 4-3, paid 97 even. Trifecta 2-8-1, 448 even, and the box 224. And the daily numbers game from the lottery was 1-5-3. By the way, Bristol Mountain closed the season today.
Okay, thanks a lot, Perry. When we return, some elementary school students celebrate spring. Stay with us.
nice. She's still too heavy.
What are we going to do?
I hate to say it, but we got to unload the, you know what? Leave the Strohs.
Negative.
Okay, then some of you got to stay behind.
No, certainly not leaving me behind.
Fortune to war.
I got it. I got it.
Yo, I got to hand it to you.
From one true lover to another Strohs.
Bill Gordon Chevrolet is taking the sticker shock out of buying America's #1 car, Chevrolet. Take advantage of GM's price reduction from $500 to $750. Make your best deal on a Celebrity, Chevette, S10 Love Truck and get a $500 reduction. Make your best deal on a Citation, Cavalier, pickup, van, or Blazer. Get $750 reduction. Bill Gordon's entire used car inventory is now inside in 3 heated showrooms, and the choice is yours. For a new or used, shop Bill Gordon for the best price, best selection, and best service. Get a great deal today at Bill Gordon's Chevrolet.
Red Lobster presents a symphony for all you shrimp lovers.
Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you.
Discover an exciting new way of buying beautiful Lee's Broadloom. Shop in Lee's showroom of carpets at Mangorian's and save $3 to $10 a square yard.
Live the life of Lee's. The life of Lee's. The carpet that's for living. That's what Lee's is all about. Live the life of Lee's.
Save at the Lee's showroom of carpets this week only at the Mangorian store nearest you.
As far as students at school number 36 on Carter Street are concerned, spring is here. This morning was the time to celebrate, to get out in the bright sun and enjoy the coming of spring. Well, to begin their week-long celebration, the students launched helium-filled balloons with cards asking the finder to send them back.
Carter! Carter!
To see how far they go.
They really took off today. Well, good luck. I hope they all get their cards back.
What's the Nightline tonight?
Kind of an interesting topic. Are you familiar with it?
Journalists. And whether or not they should have permission to print the names of agents who are doing covert action.
For the CIA. Yeah. That has happened in the past. CIA agents have been exposed in the media, and whether or not that should be
allowed.
Yeah.
So we hope you stay tuned.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow night.
Good night.